So, have you found yourself wondering or asking yourself what? The question starts with what. What are we going to do? What's going to happen? What should I do? Or what are we going to do? And I am talking about this pandemic that's going on. So after you've heard your governor talk, no matter what state you're in, you know your governor's probably had a news conference or two, or you've read some report on the news, or you have seen something on social media, or you just the million things that are out there and that we hear. And especially after hearing the guidelines that the CDC has put forward for school reopening in the fall. I have had a lot of questions myself. I know I'm not the only one. But have you asked yourself this question? And it always starts out with what? What are we going to do? What is it going to look like? What's going to happen? And I'm here to tell you today that a couple weeks ago I had gotten a really, really strong response from God in prayer. And I was finishing up my Bible study, and I was praying, and I was coming at him with the same questions, and he reminded me, and he gave me a little insight here. My question shouldn't be what. Our question should be how. It should be, how are we going to move forward? How are we going to handle this? How are we handling it right now? How are we going to move forward? And that's probably the biggest question. And that's the question we should be asking. Not what are we going to do, not what's going to happen, but how are we going to move forward with whatever comes our way? How? Because we have to have some type of action plan. And it just reminds me of one of in the last couple weeks before we had our school shut down. I was sitting in class with my students, and there was this huge thunderstorm that was getting ready to hit. It was raining outside. It was kind of it was very gloomy and rainy, and I don't mind the rain, but I get very scared during thunderstorms. The thunder and the lightning, it just does something to me. And when the thunder and the lightning goes off, it sends my nerves on edge, and I get very, very scared. Yes, I'm an adult, and I get scared of thunderstorms still to this day, okay? I won't even tell you how old I am, but yes, I still get scared of thunderstorms. But it came up in our conversation. One student was saying how they really love thunderstorms. They love this weather. And we were talking about how some of us don't and some of us do. And I said, well, anyways, we need to get back to work and we need to get busy. And so, one of my students made a comment, and it was pretty insightful. She goes, so how you deal with it is by just making sure you focus on what you need to and just find something else to focus on, and you move on. And I said, yes, I do. That's how I deal with things. I said, I am scared of thunderstorms, but I just find something else to focus on, and I just move on. I move on, and I don't ignore the fact that there's a thunderstorm. I acknowledge it, and I realize it's there, but I have a plan. And I just move on. Okay? I just have to move on. And I have to focus on what needs to be done. Okay? So that's what I do. And I thought that at that moment, that was a pretty good lesson to give them. That was pretty good. That was a really good lesson for that time. Because then we had this COVID-19 hit. School was shut down, and we're thrust into a new way of life. Hopefully it's temporary, but I kind of have my doubts. But with all of this stuff that's going on, where is our focus? Are we focused on what are we going to do, which is that, your frustrations are coming out, and you're just wallowing in the stress and the anger and everything that's coming along with this? Or change your question to how am I going to move forward? Yes, I have the governors coming down with all these recommendations, The schools are going to have to do this. As a parent, I'm having to do this. I'm having to help my kids, which I don't mind helping my kids. I love helping my kids. I love being home with my kids. I do. I miss my students, but I love being home with my kids. How am I going to move forward, though? I have a lot of things that I have to take care of. I mean, my kids' stuff, I have my students to take care of. I have my own classwork because I'm working on my online. I'm working on furthering my degree. I had a lot of stuff, and not to mention I'm a wife. I have a house to take care of. We have stuff outside to take care of. I got my garden. There's just a lot to be taken care of, and I have a lot of responsibilities. And I could just let it all pile on me and just say, oh my goodness, what am I supposed to do? Or I can say, how am I going to tackle this day? How am I going to tackle this? And that's the perspective we need to take. We need to ask ourselves, how are we going to move forward? As a Christian, I know God is going to provide. He provides for us in the smallest ways. He provides for us in the biggest possible ways, but He provides. He is our provider. He is my rock. He is my strength. He is the reason why I am sitting here today. He is the reason why I am a teacher. He is the reason why I am a mother. I am a wife. He is the reason I am alive, because I was made by Him and chosen by Him to be here. So it is because of Him I am here. He just used my mom as a vessel to bring me here, my mom and my dad. And He used my mom as the vessel, and He used my mom and my dad as the way that I got here. So He is the reason I am here, and I know that. Okay? So, how am I going to move forward? Well, first of all, I'm going to realize that He is my sustainer, that God is my sustainer. He is the one that is getting me through this. He is going to be carrying me through this. These days, where there are days that I go from being completely frustrated to extremely happy and back again, and I am all over the emotional map. Just ask my husband. I'm just all over the emotional map. Some days I'm really happy. Some days I'm just like really sad. There are days I find myself frustrated. I mean, I think I've hit every stage of grief there is over all of this. But in the end, I'm going to find out, how am I going to move forward? I'm going to realize my identity is not in being a teacher. My identity does not lie in being a mother. It does not lie in being a wife or a daughter. My identity is in Christ. And so what I'm going to do moving forward is I'm going to put my focus on Him. And I'm going to find out what He wants from me, how He wants me to move forward. And then I'm going to do it. So, how are we going to move forward? One day at a time. Don't ignore what's going on around you, but find a way to live for God in the midst of the craziness. Find a way. He will provide you a way. Listen to that still small voice, and He will provide you a way. So I'm going to realize my identity is in Christ. I am His child, and I am going to continue to follow Him. And I'm going to tackle this head on. It's not easy. It's an emotional roller coaster. It really is. It's just a huge emotional roller coaster. And I'm just going to take it day by day. I can make my plans for the future, but those plans are pretty open. Not in the fact that I don't have plans, but my plans are pretty flexible, because I know that God's plans are way better than mine, and I can plan for my future, but I am open for those plans to change to follow His plan. So, my encouragement for you today, instead of asking, what am I going to do? What are we going to do? What is going on? Ask myself, how am I going to move forward? How am I going to tackle this? Don't ignore the storm, but focus on your rock. Focus on what you need to be doing, and that is God. You need to be focused on God and He will provide you a way, and He will set your paths in front of you. So until next time, have a blessed day.